Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Tiger Talk YouTube channel. Today I'll be talking about the Fremantle game, which I was at, unfortunately, which was a very interesting game, a mini-final for Richmond. We kind of had to win to stay relevant, especially now as you see the Bulldogs have won and we're out of the 8. And it was... The critics were really questioning whether we could get it done after losing to a North Melbourne side who's been historically one of the worst teams in football. Now, I had some sort of weird optimism heading into the game. I'm not overly an optimistic fan, but I just had a feeling that they were going to show up. And to be fair, we haven't been in many games where we've been dominated or out of the contest. Even against North, we were probably the dominant side, but just couldn't capitalise on the scoreboard. Anyway, so I headed along to the game with somewhat an optimistic kind of viewpoint and was sitting right amongst the cheer squad, which is pretty awesome if you've never done that before. I managed to sneak in through the officials. And what I witnessed was a game that showed really good football and some pretty ordinary football from both teams. But the fact that we fought it, took it up to a top 4 side in Fremantle is a good sign. I mean, put everything aside that what has happened in the last few weeks, we still managed to not lose to a top 4 side, which is good. And you know what? Win, lose or draw, we didn't drop. We still gained points, and there was a bit of adversity in the last final corner, and we managed to hold on to something. I'm just frustrated that we couldn't have capitalised through Bolter and Cumberland. I feel a bit more kind of like I can spare Cumberland because he didn't know and he was pretty far out, and things happen in football. It's a cruel game. But Bolter had 2 shots on goal, one of which I recorded, but 2 shots on goal, one of them was from point blank range. He didn't need to do anything fancy. All he needed to do was slot it through and he misses, which is pretty big. And then right at the end, we all know what happened. He dilly-dallies around and gets the ball smothered. So I don't think the Noah Bolter experiment has worked, and I don't think that we should be playing him forward. With that being said, what other choice do we have? I mean, if you look at our list, we don't really have many players who can drop into that key forward spot. That's why Chol and Coleman Jones leaving was just devastating. But with all that being said, Noah Cumberland was... I'm high on Noah Cumberland. He's such a good player for us, and he's got so much pressure. He's got great forward sense, even though he missed a fairly easy shot in the match. He's just so good, and he gets up the field, he has impact, he has some really big tackles. So I'm really high on Noah Cumberland, and I think he should play out the rest of the season. He's a player that, when I look at some of these players that we've drafted, I just kind of they're not my favourite players. I look at other lists and I kind of wish that our youth was a bit better, but I just really like Noah Cumberland, and honestly I don't know why we didn't debut him sooner. To be fair though, it's probably a blessing in disguise it's worked out this way, because now he's got a mature body and is ready to make an impact straight away, opposed to say some young kid coming in, maybe like a Judson Clark, who's needs a bit more time to develop. The game overall was some good football at times, with some bad football in between, but I thought that I think we won the contested footy. It was pretty even, but and we were winning some clearances. We locked it into our half forward 50 for a while. It's just disappointing that we couldn't capitalize when we had it in our forward 50 for so long. Something that Daisy Pearce said on the commentary was that these teams are both defending terrifically. And I agree with that. I think that we had our defensive players had a really solid game. Ben Miller backed up his good game last week with another solid performance. Dylan Grimes does what Dylan Grimes does. Robbie Tarrant has been really good for Richmond. He's been terrific. I was really excited for him when we traded for him at the start of the season, and then he started to play, and I thought, he's too old, he's an old battle axe, he's nothing too special. But he's starting to show why we drafted him, and it's really exciting. I mean, we've lost Alex Rance in recent history, we've lost David Asprey. He's just been a rock down there, and he's a big-bodied, strong player who will get a finger in and just make sure that, he don't get scored on. But and there's some crazy stat, like he got a goal kicked on him last night, but he hasn't had a goal kicked on him by a big key forward since Harry Mackay against Carlton. And he's held key forwards like 2 meter Peter, goalless, Tom Hawkins. It's very tough to do, and many others. I think he kept Nick Larkey goalless in the North game, I believe. Anyway, so it was a arm wrestle the whole game, but it also just showed to me and exemplified the fact that Richmond has good football left in them. I mean, bad teams don't almost beat top 4 teams, and with all the respect of losing the leads and not winning the close affairs, if you look at our last 4, we've lost 3 games by under a goal, and then we've drawn. I mean, a goal more and we would be a flag contender, and there's no denying that. I mean, look at Collingwood. Collingwood have played absolutely amazing, but they've exceeded expectations. I put them as the wooden spoon for this year. But if you look at it, they've won by under a goal or a very small margin in so many of the games. They're playing Essendon right now, and it wouldn't surprise me if they did the same. But they could be bottom 4 had they not won those close games, and we could be top 4 if we won our close games. There's always ifs and buts in footy, and you just got to move on to next week. But I think that we just need to win every game from here on out if we want to make that 8th spot. St Kilda plays West Coast today. We're out of the 8 at the moment, but the Bulldogs have a tough schedule. It's weird to be at a draw, like actually go to a draw, because after the game it was so weird. There was just this eerie quiet. The players were standing around, shaking hands, not knowing what to do. It's an experience that without, though I was disappointed, I was happier than losing the game by a close margin. I'll take points regardless. And B, it's something that you'll look back and think, some people never even get to see a draw live. And I think that it's a cool experience to be a part of, to go there and to see 2 sides face it out, shootout style, and both teams doing all they can to win. Anyway, so the accuracy is an issue that needs to be addressed. the last 2 weeks have been abysmal, but before then, we'd been a very good, accurate side. But, you know, this kind of thing can snowball, like one bad game and then you just lose the confidence. You just, we need to do some extra training with the set shots and make sure that we can capitalize. I mean, Jack Rewalt, last week, I don't know how many goals he kicked, but he kicked 6 behinds. I mean, that's crazy. He kicked maybe 2 goals 6 or 1 goal 6. I mean, even if he kicks 3 of those or 2 of those behinds, we would have won the game. Cumberland's been fairly inaccurate. He's had a lot of bites of the apple and not been able to, you know, he could have kicked 5 or 6 in his first game against Gold Coast, but at the same time, there's been a lot of unluckiness. There's been rushed bowls, there's been a lot of posters, but it's just something that we need to fix, and there's not really an excuse you can have. Next week against Brisbane is do or die. We're at the G, which is good. We play pretty well at the G usually, typically. Brisbane don't. They're away from home. They're not a great road side. They're better on the home turf at the Gabba. So that might play into our favour, but honestly, we just need a win. We just need a win. I don't care how. It might be ugly, but we need a win. Sorry about the lack of uploading. I'm back at school now, so it's a bit tougher to get videos out. I might not be here every week for previews and whatnot. I'll do my best, but I'm enjoying making this content, and one of my videos blew up a little bit, had about 150 views, which was pretty cool. Hopefully I can bring some more people in to come see these videos. I have some match footage for you, which I'll sprinkle within the video, and yeah, I love this football team. They put me through hell and back. Dusty won't be playing for a while, and it seems more and more likely for one reason or the other that either he doesn't want to play at Richmond or he's done, he wants to leave. I don't think he'll leave, but I feel like he might retire at the end of the year. That's just my 2 cents on the issue. Anyway, guys, all we can do is keep winning, and that's all we can hope for. We can always hope for other teams to lose. We can always hope for favourable fixtures and everything. But at the end of the day, your team needs to win to get finals. We don't want to get there by default, because that's not how I want to do it. If you like this video, please give it a like, and chuck a subscribe if you're new here. I want to make a Richmond community on YouTube, and I'm enjoying talking to you guys in the comments, so leave a comment down below. Anyway, guys, without further ado, I'll see you next week, and go the Tigers.